A working class grassroots campaign that started a lot like this. We kept building that campaign. And another factor that we had in our favor was we had one of our members in office in Seattle City Council, a Marxist on a city council. We had the inside, the outside, and we built pressure on the Democrats that sat on that council. We built enough pressure to get enough of them to vote in favor for an Amazon tax. The story doesn't end there. 3 weeks later, massive pressure from the Chamber of Commerce. Bezos and all his buddies put pressure on those same Democrats, and they caved. They reneged on the deal 3 weeks later, and the tax was killed. That's an important lesson for us today. We need a clean break from the Democratic Party. It is the graveyard of social movement. But we weren't done in Seattle. Our organization wasn't done, and the grassroots movement we built, the working class of Seattle, wasn't done. Picked it up with Shama Swan's re-election campaign. 3 different super PACs built up more than $4.5 billion to defeat us. The working class of Seattle had different ideas. Shama Swan was re-elected yet again, and we rebuilt that campaign to tax Bezos, and we won again just a couple months ago. Except the joke was on them this time, because the first tax we won a couple years earlier was much less than what we won this time. We kept building, we kept fighting, and the numbers got bigger, and the tax that we won was much bigger, and now we're set to be able to bring families in Seattle out of poverty because of what we won, because of what we took back of the profits that we created for this monster company. It's all done by workers, and we took it back, and we're going to do that here in Los Angeles. I know LA is a massive area, but we've got a campaign, a grassroots campaign we've just begun building in Burbank. There's a massive Amazon distribution center that's getting built by the Burbank airport. We're building a grassroots campaign to tax Amazon. If they're coming in our neighborhood, we're going to take what's coming to us, right? We're going to take a slice. So, there is a candidate running for city council in Burbank. His name is Constantine Anthony. Our organization, as well as some other strong organizations, have endorsed his campaign because he is in favor of taxing Amazon if he gets elected. So I encourage you, if you want to get involved locally and build the movement to tax Amazon, talk to one of us from Socialist Alternative. Raise your hand. We're out there today. Find us. We got clipboards. You can sign up. We will contact you. We are building a grassroots, multiracial, working class campaign because that's what it takes to win. And lastly, I just want to thank Chris and all the workers at Amazon that stood up, that had the courage to stand up and walk out. That's what we need in organized labor. Where was organized labor? Why weren't they leading those workouts? Why aren't they leading those workouts today? We need a revolution within organized labor. We need a democratic renewal within organized labor. And it's going to be for people like Chris Smalls in the workplaces to throw out the bum bureaucrats and to really make the labor movement what it should be. Fighting for workers, taking capital on, head on, straight on. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, bro. Powerful. Yeah. Kashama, I've been on plenty of panels with her. She's a powerful voice for Amazon workers in Seattle. She did win that wealth tax up there. So we need to do the same thing, not just in Seattle, all across the nation. Every single state needs to get that wealth tax so we can get that money back to the working class people. So, without further ado, I want to bring up two more of my brothers that were with me from day one. The first day, when I was out there on March 30th, and the world fell in our lap, and the media came asking for stories, these brothers stood with me in solidarity, side by side, telling their stories, telling the truth, telling their stories about how Amazon is not taking care of their employees, not taking care of workers with underlying health conditions, and we wouldn't be here today if we didn't stay together. And we continue to fight. Once again, we formed the Congress of Essential Workers, TCOEW. This group and this organization is full of amazing people, workers, teachers, just doctors, nurses, people in professional fields that feel like they need to stand in solidarity with the working class people So my brothers here, I want to bring up Jordan and Gerald.
All right, guys, welcome to Status Coup. Smash the like button, share the stream. We are here in Beverly Hills listening to a protest against Jeff
Hi,
Bezos.
everybody. My name is Gerald. I'm part of TCOEW. Proud to be. As you heard, our story started out in New York in Staten Island. I was the second person fired after Christian. First week Christian was fired. Second week I took up more of a role. I was then fired a few days, maybe a week later. Basically, you know, all we asked for was safety conditions for, you know, to distancing, to have more lotion setups, to be able to have masks at will. And basically, we weren't told anything. You know, we were pushed to the side, and that's why we're all here today. As I said, I protested out there. I was silenced for protesting on Amazon. I just don't even know where to start with him. They're doing so much, you know, it's just crazy. I mean, first of all, we should all work, and like Christian said earlier, we should all look, you know, for Amazon to be paying taxes. None of these 500 Fortune 500 companies are paying taxes. Why we, working class, are paying taxes. What part of the game is that? We need to band together to really, you know, strive for an effort that Amazon and companies like Amazon pay taxes. You know, like I said, you know, this is bullshit. You know, you bust your ass every day, I bust my ass every day, and they take taxes out of your check. Yet Amazon gets away with taxes just by its orders, just by having Amazon Prime. Everybody that's signed up that's a member, you pay those taxes, you paid it for Amazon. That's the bottom line. I don't have a lot to say today. I just came in from New York on a flight. I'm like red-eye tired and everything else, and hoarse voice. But I just want to stand here today and tell you that your voice does matter. Use it. It makes a difference. With that, I'm going to pass on to Jay.
Thank you so much for the $25 reporting trip fundraiser donation from Anonymous, statuscoup.com/West Coast. Thank you so much.
So as Derek told you, I have a medical issue called lupus nephritis. I'm immunocompromised, which means I'm easily susceptible of catching the coronavirus. During the pandemic, I stayed with my 3 brothers and got fired because I spoke about my medical issue and the safety issues. Till this day, I'm fighting with human resources to keep me employed and not take time from me. They don't answer me. They don't do nothing for me. And it's a shame a $200 billion man who made during this pandemic can't help him, and you people, and also me, with a medical issue. He tells the funding to ICE. He's sending it to everyone else. He's not helping his employees. He's thinking about himself. And it's a shame that this one man only cares about himself, not the world, and not you. There you go. Fuck Bezos. There you go. Fuck Bezos.
Say it with your chest, bro.
Say it one more time. Fuck Bezos.
Fuck Bezos!
Fuck Bezos.
Fuck Bezos!
Fuck Bezos. I'm going to just end it off as I'm proud to be here with my 4 brothers, still fighting for everyone, our employees, our customers, to make sure you guys are safe and our employees are safe. Thank you.
Again, guys, this is Jen reporting from Beverly Hills at a protest against Amazon led by Chris Smalls, who was famously fired by Amazon
Thank you.
for
Next, I
protesting
would like to bring up
in relation to
Julie
COVID.
From the UTLA.
We are
She's going to speak on
going to be here
Project
for as long as this lasts.
That's
They are
about
marching
back in
to
the world.
Jeff Bezos'
Also,
mansion
she's a part
here
of this
in Beverly
community. She
Hills.
represents LA.
Smash the like
UTLA
button,
had the
share
pleasure
the
of speaking on
stream,
their
let
virtual,
everybody know that we are live.
panel they had
Subscribe to
a
this
couple
channel if
months
you
ago.
haven't yet.
Yeah, about a month ago, I spoke with them, and They're doing some great work on the ground. She's going to share this information with you guys. And let's support her. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Julie Van Winkle, and I'm the Vice President of Secondary Schools for United Teachers Los Angeles, UTLA. I'm happy to be here today, standing with other workers. It's so important to have a union because it helps us have a voice when we fight for rights for ourselves, and then also for teachers, for the rights of our students and the families that we serve. During this pandemic, Jeff Bezos has increased his personal wealth by about $100 billion. I'm a math teacher, and I barely understand how big that number is. And I read about a week ago that he's trying to he's doing a charitable contribution to open up kindergarten or preschool for low-income students. Well, the thing is, because he has been able to benefit from the way taxes are in this country, he's the one who's causing those low-income families to not be able to afford preschool in the first place. And if he and other billionaires and the inhabitant in the White House pay taxes like all of us pay taxes, then we would have high-quality schools for all of our students. So we don't want Jeff Bezos to show us his philanthropy. We want him to pay taxes, and we want other billionaires to pay taxes so that everybody else can have access to health care and education. That's why I'm asking you to vote yes on Proposition 15 this November. It's so important. Proposition 15 would bring $12 billion to schools in California and to services for the communities. And the way it would generate this money is by making corporations pay taxes on their real estate holdings here in the state. This proposition, these $12 billion, the vast majority of it would be brought in by companies like Amazon, like Chevron, like Disney, that currently pay either no taxes or less to no taxes. Proposition 15 would not affect any homeowners or renters. It's only for corporations and their corporate lands. And just by taxing this, it wouldn't even affect small businesses. If your business is worth less than $3 million, you would not be taxed any differently. It's just land for large corporations like Chevron, like Amazon, like Disney. So I'm urging you, please, vote yes on Proposition 15. It would have been a game changer. You know, California, not only is it the richest state in the country, it's the 5th richest economy in the whole world. And we pay just a fraction per student in our schools as we pay per prisoner in our jails. I mean, that is criminal. So Proposition 15, even before the pandemic, was a game changer for California schools, but now considering that California is facing about $50 billion of budget deficit, you know that they're going to come after our schools. Proposition 15 is literally what we need to do to keep public schools, just keep them existing in California. So please vote yes on Proposition 15. Tell everybody you know. I just got my ballot in the mail this morning or yesterday sometime, so the ballots are coming. Everybody's going to get an absentee ballot that you can mail in or drop off. It is so important that we vote yes on Proposition 15. You know some other things to vote on too. So with that, I have the pleasure of introducing Kalila Williams. She's an LAUSD student. She's an amazing activist, and she's one of the members of Students Deserve.
All right, guys, this is Jenn here in Beverly Hills. We are reporting from a Jeff Bezos protest. They will be marching to his mansion. A variety of speakers up until then.
I can't hear you. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. All right, my name is Kalila Williams. I'm a student deserve, and I'm 16 years old. And I'm out here fighting for justice like everybody else in the streets, fighting for Black lives in our schools. Because our schools are continuing to get, our Black students in our schools are continuing to get over-policed more than their population. We're 8% of LAUSD's population, and 25% of the school's police arrest, diversions, and citations. That's 5 times more than our population. And it's time, as people have said, with this light of COVID, everybody's becoming more aware of racism in our communities and over-policing in our Black communities. And so we've been calling for the defunding of police. However, companies like Amazon and Chevron continue to contribute to police unions, which are continuing to police Black communities over police Black communities. And so we need to also call on corporations like Amazon, especially Amazon, because we know Jeff Bezos is going to be one of the richest people, one of the first trillionaires, and he continues to line his pockets, doesn't care about our communities, doesn't care about the workers in his companies. He just cares about lining his pockets and getting more money.
That's right.
And so now it's time for us as a community to stand up and fight for what's right. And what that means is taxing Amazon and taxing larger corporations and continuing to fund our public schools. It's time that we get resources that we need. It's time that I get a full-time nurse at my school. It's time that I get a full-time counselor and resources in my community. It's time that Jeff Bezos gets taxed, because it's time that companies like his and people like him who don't need more money pay their fair share. So I encourage y'all, just like Julie said, vote for Prop 15 this election. Vote early as well. Don't wait till the day of election to vote, because we all know these votes this year are getting sabotaged, and we see that there's so much things going on in the media. Make sure you're well informed, as well as continue to speak out about these issues. Don't let your voice be silenced. People like Chris are standing up, and we have to continue to support people like essential workers who are losing their jobs for just speaking up. We have to continue to keep supporting organizations that are speaking up about issues that we know were happening before. This isn't nothing new, but it's time that people realize it, and it's time that people start paying their fair share. It's time that corporations start paying their fair share, and it's time that we start seeing change in communities, especially Black communities, and especially for people who need it the most. Thank y'all.
Again, we're here to Jeff Bezos protest. Smash the like button, share this stream, get it all over social media. People need to see
16
this.
years old, y'all. I told y'all the future is with the youth. I wasn't lying on that. Facts, straight facts, son.
Chris Smalls is kind of guiding this. You all remember Chris Smalls. He was famously fired by Amazon in Staten Island for trying to organize to protect fellow workers against COVID.
Taxing the wealth, absolutely. Taking care of the Black and brown communities, the indigenous communities, absolutely. The working class people, absolutely. This is what we out here for. But we cannot forget about global warming. California's on fire right now, right? This is what that represents. The Red Rebels, Extinction Rebellion. This organization is worldwide known for speaking up about climate control. They've been a catalyst for that, and we need to listen. So I had the pleasure to join them in solidarity today. Join in these movements, the labor movement, the social injustice movement, the environmental movement. That is true solidarity. Calling for a general strike on election day. Like she said, vote. We shouldn't have no distractions this year. Early vote. Get your ballots in early. The reason why we want a general strike on election day is so that we are focused on just getting the right administration in there. And I don't know if we're going to do that this year. But guess what? I can tell you what. We won't last another 4 years with the one we got now. So we got to do what we got to do. And I ain't saying that the DNC is representing us the right way, because we know that they're not. They do a lot of lip service. But we're going to hold their ass accountable, too. I don't give a damn. Biden, and you ain't got 4 years, brother. You ain't got it. Because we ain't got it. We tired. We tired. So Biden, Harris, You know, she once sent a letter to Jeff Bezos on my behalf too. Camilla Harris, calling your ass out too. You ain't got 4 years. You ain't got it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want anybody to feel any way. Look, I agree. Get Trump the fuck out of there. But if Biden and Camilla, if y'all think y'all gonna get in office and do lip service for 4 years, hell no. Nope. You gonna shut shit down. Shut it down. So, that being said, I want to bring up this brother Marlo from Extinction Rebellion. I had a preview of this speech. Y'all going to be in for it. He's going to close this out, and then we going to march on Jeff Bezos' property. Let's go.
All right, Status Coup
Marlo.
here. Jenn dies. A lot of speakers here before people march in Beverly Hills to Jeff Bezos' mansion. This is Extinction Rebellion.
I'd like to dedicate this speech to a champion of truth and the people, Michael Brooks, who was taken from us this tragic year, and a personal friend of mine, the Don Quixote of unhoused activists, David Bush. I speak to you not on behalf of any organization here. I speak to you as humbly as I possibly can, as a representative of the great mass of the unhoused and dispossessed of our world, 70,000 alone in this city, a number that swells tragically every day. I've lived the last year without a home as a guerrilla filmmaker, documenting this housing crisis, the humanitarian face of our housing, of our environmental, ecological crisis. I've seen what it's like to be at the bottom, and I've concluded that this system isn't broken. It's designed this way. It's intentionally unequal. The homeless crisis is allowed to persist, primarily as a ghastly warning to all the working people. If you stop working, this is what will happen to you. Our whole culture exists under the illusion that wealth signifies personal greatness and poverty, personal failure. We have so dehumanized society across class lines that we can't even empathize with our own species anymore, let alone our environment that encompasses all life. The Amazon is on fire, again, and the West is burning, with half of California. Redwood forests older than the time of Christ are being scorched by the addictive ignorance, the greed, and the apathy of a minority of humanity. The daily news reads like apocalyptic prophecy. Every damn day the flames get hotter. Ecosystems destabilize. Half the species on Earth have vanished in 50 years. It'll be 90% in 10 years. The flaming Arctic released more carbon in 2 months than the whole Earth in the last year. Bombs of carbon will be released with ancient viruses in the ice that will spread plagues that make us pine for the new normal of COVID. We're on track for the worst case climate scenario prophesied by the entirety of the scientific consensus. The conservative estimate is an uninhabitable Earth with 6 billion human lives lost by 2100, gone the way of the dinosaurs. The temptation to crawl into the inevitability and doom has never been stronger, but we must not give in to the fear and the stupidity that what now exists must necessarily exist. In all this calamitous suffering, the words of Charlie Chaplin come to mind. Do not despair. The misery before us is only the passing of greed. While corporate profits surge and the virtual Amazon grows like a cancer, the real Amazon, the lungs of our planet that generates 25% of our oxygen, our breath, burns away. As the smoke dyes our skies red, the mask of normalcy is burning away with it. We are witnessing all the unconscious pain and suffering this way of life has put the world through for centuries coming into the light. The walls of our homes can no longer shield us from the desperate reality that the unhoused poor of the world have long taken for granted. If you can't produce profit, your life has no value. As we stand on the metaphorical precipice of life and death as a species, we have gathered less than a mile from the home of the richest man in human history, the pharaoh oligarch of our times, Jeff Bezos. Come on, let's hear it. Let's let this man know how we feel.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos is the richest man that has ever lived. He's worth $200 billion.
From doing nothing.
He makes $133,181 a minute. That's $22,219 a second. That motherfucker just made 219 seconds. Dollars. That's twice what an Amazon worker makes in a week. And I mean the average Amazon worker, not a factory worker, not a warehouse worker like our brothers here. The average Amazon salary is $37,500 a year. It would take the average Amazon worker 5,330,330 years spending nothing to accumulate that much money. Wow. That is the entire span of human history and prehistory, going back to the birth of animal life on this earth. And if we don't stop the cancerous expansion of everything he represents, we could reduce the earth back to that level of biodiversity in 1 generation. Jeff Bezos has the power to stop this. He has the power to house every unhoused person in the United States, but every single day he chooses not to. Amazon has made billions off this pandemic, off the suffering, the sickness, and the death of working people. But the only tangible service that they provide the earth is convenience. We have succumbed to the coercion of convenience in our constantly accelerating lives because it saves time. Time is money, and without money, in the richest country in the world, the history of the world, you die. What we are dealing with is addiction on a mass level. Oligarchs chasing the dragon of cancerous infinite growth, destroying everyone around them and even their own planet in the process. It's disturbing, but I believe Jeff Bezos and elites like him really believe that they are helping the world as they destroy it. That is the narcissistic self-delusion at the heart of all addiction. And like any addiction, grace will not come till we have exhausted every avenue of self-destruction, until there is no option left but to transform or die. So I ask you, what is the point of a convenient life without the time to truly live it? Is that a life? I'm asking, is that a life?
No. Hell no.
They have stolen the best years of our past and the moments of our present, slicing them thinner into seconds without bathroom breaks. And if we allow it, they will steal the future. For the very habitability of our planet is at stake here if business as usual and the cult of convenience that is Amazon.com and the economic system at large is allowed to continue its endless, expansive exploitation. Jeff Bezos wasn't a self-made man. He didn't make that money himself. He didn't work 200 billion% harder than everyone else. He didn't make Amazon himself. And he didn't build his house. I'll tell you who did build it. Workers. As this pandemic has gouged the divide of inequality to the heart, as the hollowness and antisocial greed of their system and its failure to maintain a society at the most basic level has been exposed, as the oligarchs squeeze every last drop of wealth out of us, they've shown us their weak point. They've shown us who the most powerful people in society are today. So I ask you, who is essential? Who is essential?
We are.
Was it Wall Street hotshots with their billion-dollar bailouts?
No.
Was it our millionaire politicians on Capitol Hill or the executives hiding behind their privacy hedges?
No.
Who's essential? Who's essential? Damn right. It's restaurant and hospitality workers. It's grocery store clerks and construction workers. It's frontline nurses and landscapers and dry cleaners and farmers. It's working people. If everyone with that label stopped going to work, the whole damn machine comes tumbling down. And we can build it back on the unshakable foundations of justice and equality that create the conditions for a common share in the abundance of our earth. It's time we reclaim the dignity of human life. It's time we take back control of our world and all the time that's been stolen from us. The first steps, our children's first words, all those precious moments with our loved ones gone forever, all the weddings, the graduations, the funerals we missed because we were working. Our best years, our youth, the countless wonders in the world that by rights belong to us all, that we lack the freedom or the resources or the time off to explore. It's time we say enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Come on, let's hear it.
Enough is enough.
It's time we stack up all the productivity they've skimmed off our lives and put our weight on the scales to stop the machine in its tracks before it bulldozes the only home we've ever known. Look at them, there they go, right there. The only home we have ever known is the earth, and that's what's on the line here. Jeff Bezos has said that the only worthy cause of spending his Amazon winnings, as he calls them, sociopathic fuck, the only cause he says that money is worthy of is space travel, the ultimate vanity. And the narrative he tells himself is that it's for the good of humanity. His explicit stated plan, this is what he says, is to mine asteroids so he can undercut materials producers and dominate the global market. As our world, this Garden of Eden, has been stripped of its resources and reduced to a burning, toxified wasteland, ruled by Nazis, as slaves pour his champagne and pour him octopus on his escape pod to space. That's not a role model, that's a Bond villain. We're peasants to these people. We live and die for fractions of a decimal on their net worth, and they will sacrifice every one of us to fuel their addiction. This is nothing new. All this has happened before. In 1919, the era of the trust busters, the era of Teddy Roosevelt, the era of the big corporations and oligarchs. In 1919, the influenza epidemic was followed by a general strike. And going back even further, in the 1400s, during the bubonic plague, landlords increased rent and they pushed farmers to strip the land till it wouldn't produce. Sound familiar? Out of all that calamity and conflict, the peasants revolted in the birth of a new world and the system of today, which we must again overturn. This is the cycle of history repeating itself over and over again. The unthinking, reactive pattern of hurt people hurting people, of children turned into monsters by a lifetime of culture that is inherently abusive, competitive, loveless, wheeling indefinitely till it crashes us all into the ditch. Or someone takes the wheel, looks at the map, and takes us in a new direction. We are all hurt by this system, even its supposed winners. We are all victims of the abusive environment of our culture that encourages mass sociopathy, and we carry it on inside us, unconsciously. This cycle keeps us from really living our lives. Life itself just becomes a reaction of a reaction of a reaction forever. It is our responsibility to take accountability for the ways that we all have been influenced and shaped by that abuse, and not the personal responsibility of rugged individualism, but a collective movement to hold us all to our own dual nature, to the fact that power corrupts, and to our own true potential, that together we can uplift us all and heal the addiction and disease of violent dehumanization in us all. And to rejoice that we once were communal and collective, that we once shared, we once knew what a 5-year-old knows how to do, to share, and we can do it again. In his book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed, the great Paulo Freire beautifully expressed this idea. He says that through the process of dehumanization, lost my place here, man. Y'all just take a minute and give yourselves a round of applause. Give working people a round of applause.
Status Coup here. Smash the like button, share this stream. Let people know that this is going on. They will be marching to Jeff Bezos' mansion here in Beverly Hills any moment now. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Go to statuscoup.com/West Coast if you would like to contribute to this reporting trip. We could really use it.
But he makes
Here you go.
himself less human in the process. It is the oppressed from their stifled humanity who must wage for the struggle for a fuller humanity for both. The atrocities of wage theft and exploitation, the evils of marginalization, inequality, racism, and manifold classism, all the ways we are torn apart and made separate that have always been used to divide us. That is in fact our deepest point of connection, our suffering, our humanity. We are all bonded in our experience of this system's oppression, but it can be our greatest strength and our potential to organize. Just as the impending doom of climate apocalypse presents the greatest opportunity to pivot to a more fair and beautiful society than we have ever seen. For nothing short of transformative change will even touch these issues, will even do one thing to stop the collapse that is impending. It's not just the most total horror facing us, but it's our greatest opportunity to bring about an end to this destructive cycle, to break the cycle, and to create a new world. The threads of our democracy have been severed, but with them can be severed the addictive delusion that this system will save us from itself. No amount of voting with our dollars or pushing sociopathic, compromised corporate political systems to reform will avert this fate that hangs over us like a guillotine. Only we can. You and I, working people, unhoused lives, black lives, the youth, the common people, the tired and the hungry, the burnouts and the rebels, the sick and the anxious, the poor of the world, the meek reclaiming the earth. If we are the cogs in their machine, if we stop moving, the whole machine stops moving. A mass wave of general strikes and a rejuvenated intersectional labor movement braiding together all the marginalized groups so hurt by this system is the most powerful statement we can make. It's a voiceless statement, an asymmetrical statement, a decentralized blow to the system emanating from every direction at once. It may sound impossibly complex, but it's the simplest thing in the world. All we have to do is nothing. Stay home, play with your kids, work on your passions, spend time with your loved ones, paint, write, relax, innovate, create, roll up a joint, plant a garden, dare to dream, and just be, as nature exemplifies. Just be and break the cycle of reactivity and violence, and finally we can heal. Finally, we can live our lives. It's easy to feel alone in the face of a bureaucratic mass of corporate money and militarized political domination when you're just one person. But together, we hold all the cards. Look around you. Look at all of us. This is just 1/10. This is just a pinhead. This is just one tiny percent of what is what we are capable of when we come together. They can't beat all of us. They can't tear gas all of us. They can't kill all of us. They need us. They need us more than we need them. What we're proposing here, it can't be done alone. It can't. It can't be done today. It can't be done conveniently or quickly or through your phone. It's a movement. It's a commitment. And it's going to take solidarity and collective action like we have never seen before. Those who have resources will have to share them. As the most vulnerable among us, take the greatest risk. If there's one thing I've learned from the unhoused, it's that life goes on without money. And if we take care of each other, we can thrive. We can live good lives without this damn system.
Luau, oh my God.
If we create networks of support and activate the power of the people and stop the wheels for even one day, just imagine how much money they would lose. The damage to their system will be incalculable. If they're going to choke us out in the streets, if they're going to burn our forests, we're going to take their oxygen. The money that fuels their death drive. We don't just want safer slavery. We don't want higher wages and shorter lives. We want our lives back. We want our planet back. And a real say in how it's run and taken care of. How the abundance it produces can provide for all of us and not just some of us. Look at this. This is crazy. Look where we are. This is terraforming. This is what they're going to do to Mars instead of fixing our Earth. Hang on one second.
Smash the like button, subscribe. We'll be marching to Jeff Bezos' mansion in Beverly
We don't
Hills
want longer
shortly.
chains. We want freedom. Oligarchs like Bezos cling tyrannically to their power, wading deeper every day into oppression. When they could relinquish that power and share it, they could be heroes. But they won't. They're just mindlessly doing what society has programmed them to do, to act psychopathically for personal gain. They could use their power to transform society, but they don't, because they spent their lives dominating people, and that's what they fear, is other people dominating them. But we don't want domination. We want equality. We don't want revenge. We want justice. We want a future. We want to play a part in transforming our world, not into a compromised gulag of unilateral poverty of body and spirit, but an abundant and advanced society where our technology and collectively actualized potential frees us from the oppression of forced labor and liberates us to transform our world from one of war and scarcity and destruction into a beautiful dream of abundance and kindness and laughter. A world where we work from our shared desire to create, to make life better, not from the finite and shallow well of profit or the fear of dying hungry in the streets. I'm almost done here. But from the infinite wellspring of human kindness, our desire to help one another, to innovate and explore and create and express our inborn compassion, our imagination, and our love for all life. All the pain and terror in our world right now is the pregnant Mother Earth in labor, with the new world being born. We came into this world open. Everything else was an imposition. We all grew up dreaming, wishing we could embark on a great adventure to save the world. We all know how high the stakes are. They've never been higher. And every one of us has that chance today to save the world. I have never been more cynical about our institutions and more optimistic in human life. We can do this. It's not going to be easy, but damn it, it's going to be fun.
Smash the like button, share this stream, subscribe if you haven't already. Soon this group is going to be marching to Jeff Bezos' Beverly Hills mansion. Of course, to protest against Amazon paying zero in taxes, Jeff Bezos' extreme wealth,
Without
etc.
further ado, I'm going to bring up my brother Jerry Perez, who's going to lead us off to this beautiful march on this beautiful Sunday. We about to make some good trouble. I sat here and I listened to my brothers and sisters as they spoke, and I lost track of how many Mercedes and Benz and BMWs and Range Rovers and Bentleys and $100,000 vehicles drive by, but they slowed down today. They slowed down today. They rolled down their windows today. So today, we're going to take over the streets of Beverly Hills. We're going to let these millionaires and billionaires over here know that we here, we're not going nowhere. They're going to have to listen to us today. We're going to cause some good trouble, make some good noise, and peacefully protest in the streets that are rightfully ours, the streets that have always been ours, and we're going to reclaim our power. And I want to say it's a pleasure to introduce my brother Jerry Perez from Movement of People's Party. This party is a third party of people that I've been representing for the last few months. I've been on their panels, I've been at their convention, I've been speaking with organizers, working with people like Nina Turner, Dr. Cornelius West, Peter, Brian Knight, Marianne Williams. All these people that are speaking up about a Green New Deal and a third party option. The time is now to form together a people's party, a party that represents us and don't take no corporate money. Jerry Perez, y'all.
So Chris Smalls, who you just heard speaking, was fired from Amazon for trying to organize for workers. Let's listen to the next speaker.
Let's go! What I just heard today, I heard workers of Amazon talking of the injustice, the indignity that they experienced working for such a corrupt organization, being taken advantage of, being treated as slaves. And so LA, speaking on your behalf, I'm going to answer them now. We stand with you workers. We're about to go for a walk, ladies and gents. We're about to go pay a visit to Jeff Bezos. And we're going to tell him, enough is enough. We stand with you in this boycott of Amazon. And we stand with you in this general election.
An Amazon Prime truck has just gone by, interestingly.
I have a question for you, LA. Who shuts shit down? We shut shit down. I ask again. Who shuts shit down? We shut shit down. 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 Let's go for a walk. Let's go.
Okay, so it looks like folks are about to move in the march.
We're gonna march straight down this street right here to my right, your left. We're gonna stay on the sidewalk till we get to to the intersection. There's a lot of marshals out, so please stay together, find a buddy, pay attention to what's going on. We've got peaceful protest safety vehicles that will be around to keep us together and to keep us safe. If you haven't had water yet, please grab some water. It's hot out. We don't want anyone having a heat stroke. And if you need anything, find a marshal or a medic, and we're here to keep us together. Thanks so much for coming out, and Chris, lead us off.
Okay, so everyone here is about to march over to Jeff Bezos' Beverly Hills mansion. You heard Chris Smalls kind of leading the way here. We're going to walk with everyone. As they said, there are a lot of marshals apparently on the path over to Jeff Bezos' house, mansion, shall we say. If you haven't yet, please smash the like button. It is the thumbs up button right under this stream.
If we don't get it, shut it down. 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 Hold up, we don't get it, shut it down. Hold up, we don't get it, shut it down. Hold up, we don't get it, shut it down. Whole street, our street, whole street, our street, whole street, our street, whole street, our street. What do we want? Climate justice.
You can hear Chris Smalls right in the front. He was famously fired by Amazon for trying to organize for safety when COVID hit in an Amazon warehouse in Staten Island.
What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. Whole street. Our street. Whole street. Our street. Whole street. Our street. Whole street. Our street. And if we don't get it, shut it down.
If you're just joining us, we are marching to Jeff Bezos' Beverly Hills mansion. A group here led by Christian Smalls is marching over there to protest against the obscene amount of wealth that Jeff Bezos has earned during this pandemic. His wealth has increased by 65%. He's the richest man in the world. Police officers blocking off the side roads here. A couple of cars here honking in solidarity. Canyon and Camden Drive in Beverly Hills. Smash the like button, guys. It's the thumbs up button right underneath this video. It really helps get the word out. Share this stream. Also, this reporting trip to the West is quite costly. StatusCout.com/West Coast if you can help us at all. Thank you so much, Salt Fake News, for the super chat. Tax the billionaires, I agree. Thank you for all who've given super chats before. Keep them coming. They really, really help. I will try to respond as I can. The march is fluid, of course.
What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! And if we don't get it,
Monarch, I'm so sad that you'd unsubscribed. I'm glad you're back. I hope you resubscribe. This is the sort of stuff we do.
hold up, we don't get it. Shut it down! One more time.
This is Chris Smalls leading the march. If you all will remember from several months ago, he was trying to organize safety for Staten Island workers in an Amazon warehouse and was fired for the effort. Leaked internal communications show that they were trying to paint him as uneducated in their PR efforts. Highly disgusting. And here he is, leading a march to Jeff Bezos' mansion in Beverly Hills.
Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! And if we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it!
There are a few vehicles kind of leading the protest here to keep everybody safe. The Beverly Hills, LA area is used to, at this point, leading these sorts of marches. This one, though, is very specific. Obviously protesting against Jeff Bezos, and in particular, the fact that Amazon doesn't pay taxes. He is the wealthiest man in the world, and his wealth has increased by about 65% throughout the COVID pandemic. Of course, most average Americans have not seen anything like that. And in fact, people are struggling, can't eat, can't keep their homes. And there's Jeff Bezos, living up high.
Who shuts it down? 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 We shut shit down. Who shuts it down? We shut shit down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. Who shuts shit down? We shut shit down.
We are up to 429 viewers right now. Please smash the like button, the thumbs up button right underneath the stream to get that higher. That's how YouTube sees that people are paying attention, and will show it in more people's feeds.
Our streets. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. When I say tax, y'all say Bezos tax. Bezos. Tax. Bezos. Tax. Bezos. Tax. Bezos. Tax. Bezos. Tax.
Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new.
Tax.
YouTube sometimes unsubscribes people as well. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell for notifications. Also, YouTube is not reliable in telling you when we're actually live. So text COUP to 370-370. Get out your phone right now. Text COUP to 370-370. And if you can, we've been on the West Coast for about 10 days now. It's quite costly. We've done reporting with the wildfires. We've done reporting with the Proud Boys. We've done reporting with the alt-right, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. So much, and still more to come. If you can support us at any amount, please do. statuscoup.com/West Coast. statuscoup.com/West Coast. Also, we have a membership here where you get behind the scenes videos, which we've taken a lot on this trip, a lot of really fun ones, including with Cheetah's dog. She's so fun. She's a puppy. Lots of behind-the-scenes content. Statuscoup.com/join. $5 a month. You also get Ask Me Anything calls with Jordan and myself. Again, if you're just joining us, we are marching here in Beverly Hills on the way to Jeff Bezos' mansion. Again, Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest man in the world. Amazon paying nothing in taxes. Jeff Bezos' personal wealth increasing by 65% throughout the COVID pandemic. That goes to show you, while so many Americans are struggling all over the United States and beyond, those like Jeff Bezos are winning. Their wealth is increasing. Ours is decreasing. Chris Smalls is leading the march. Chris Smalls was an Amazon worker in Staten Island, New York, who was fired for trying to organize for safety in his workplace. There are internal messages from inside of Amazon trying to paint Chris Smalls as unintelligent in order to kind of destroy him and the movement that he's building. So far, a small police presence, some police trucks blocking off side streets, some protest vehicles kind of leading the way, guiding people safely through the streets of Beverly Hills. You can see that the Tax Bezos banner right in front there.
Our streets! Whole streets! Our streets! Whole streets! Our streets! Whole streets! Our streets! Whole streets!
If you can support this trip at $5, $10, whatever amount is financially feasible for you, statuscoup.com/West Coast.
You gotta turn around, buddy.
Chris Smalls just told someone in a Range Rover that they have to turn around. A lot of very fancy vehicles along this path in Beverly Hills. A lot of very nice mansions. A lot of nice houses here in Beverly Hills. The wealth here is just indescribable. You see these mansions in Beverly Hills where everyone's okay. You know, they can hide out in their mansions if they want to or if they need to. They're comfortable. They have pools in their backyard. But the majority of Americans are not experiencing this. So this group here in Beverly Hills has gathered to march through these very, very wealthy streets to show Jeff Bezos and all of these very wealthy folks that the people are what matter. Lots of chants and marchers through the street. The crowd is very pumped up. I wouldn't say it's an enormous crowd, but it is quite a large crowd for a Sunday afternoon for a very specific type of protest, which is again against Jeff Bezos, the fact that Amazon doesn't pay any taxes, the fact that Jeff Bezos' wealth has increased by 65% throughout COVID, a time where people are economically devastated. You'll see some protesters kind of guiding other traffic, some protesters in vehicles leading the way.
When our planet is under attack, what do we do?
The protesters and marchers in the LA and Beverly Hills area are used to this by now. There are daily marches and protests here for a variety of reasons.
Stand up like that. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it?
We have almost 500 viewers. Please smash that like button, the thumbs up button underneath the stream.
What do we want?
Share the stream on your Twitter, your Facebook, wherever.
What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it?
Lauren talks about a general strike. Absolutely, that's one of the things they called for in the preliminary speeches.
I don't know what I've been told.
Do you want to go ahead? Oh, can you hear me? I can hear you. So
as an Angelino, I just wanted to chime
That's
on
Tina.
this. That's Tina here. So we are absolutely marching through one of the wealthiest neighborhoods of Los Angeles right now. And just to put that into perspective, California is the 5th largest economy in the world, and right here in this area here you have massive amount of concentrated wealth. So to have these folks marching through the street right now is absolutely unheard of.
You could just see, like, the houses are massive.
This is the 1%.
Massive.
This is absolutely the 1%. So these are movie stars live here. Not just Jeff Bezos, corporate barons live here. Like, this is a massive concentration of wealth here.
You have to wonder if they're hearing this march go past and what they're thinking.
What I think they should be thinking is that I'm scared. Maybe the income inequality is now too severe. And if I'm going to preserve my quality of life, I better do something to fix that.
I hope so, but is it easier to just shut the windows and go back to sleep?
They can't go back to sleep. We're now in their neighborhood. Do you understand what I'm saying? In the past, there's always been protests, but never here.
It seems to be that they're kind of concentrated in doing protests in LA a lot of the times. This one specifically to Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Yesterday we were at one for Black Lives. Beverly Hills seems to be a spot where people are gathering to spread the word.
Which is interesting because yesterday we had the Black Lives Matter protest that was down in the shopping area of this area. Now we're in the residential area. So in just 1 weekend alone, you've had a concentration of 2 massive protests, one against racial inequality, racial justice, the other against income inequality, economic justice, and environmental justice. And really all these things are intertwined. And they all have to do with what we're seeing here, massive income inequality.
Again, we see just a small police presence kind of blocking off the side streets here. So far, they haven't really moved in at all.
No.
They're monitoring, though, I'm sure. Tina's seen how the police operate here.
Yeah, so these are just the traffic police. They're not even the real Beverly Hills Police Department, which is interesting. You're right.
So we'll see if they become more of a presence later on. So far, people are able to kind of freely march down the streets of Beverly Hills towards...
But you'll see right here, we just passed Sunset. I mean, really, this is massive concentration of wealth here. This would be walking through the Hamptons on a daily, to give you an idea if you're on the East Coast.
Right, for those who aren't familiar, these houses are... How much would you put one of these
Several
houses?
million.
Wow.
Minimum 6-7 million. Minimum.
So an absolute concentration of wealth in this area.
And we're not even in the wealthiest part of Beverly Hills.
And we know that Jeff Bezos' mansion is $165 billion in value.
He has a huge amount of land. So some of these smaller houses here, and I say smaller, they're still like, what, 8 bedrooms and 7 baths, you know what I'm saying? It's all relative, right?
Well, I believe Jeff Bezos has 25 bathrooms. Was that what we read on the way?
It's insanity. It's absolute insanity.
Clearly nobody needs that number of bathrooms. Nobody needs that much space.
Right.
Jeff Bezos is divorced. As far as I know, it's just him living there. Why does he need 25 bathrooms?
Because he's a greedy bastard.
Why does he need...
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, of course. Why does he need his wealth to increase by 65% during a pandemic? He doesn't need that.
It's grotesque. But to me, this is a policy failure. We can talk about how greedy these individuals are, but we cannot talk about that in a bubble. It's not isolated. We've allowed this to happen with the policy that's come into place the last 30 years.
Absolutely. So we have a super chat from Lauren Nicole. Thank you so much. Lauren says, yes, love your content. Let's organize strikes from every state. Love that, Lauren. Thank you so much for the super chat. Keep those super chats coming. They help us keep reporting. You can also support us via statuscoup.com/West Coast. We may be marching down wealthy streets with mansions. We are definitely not living in mansions ourselves. We are out here reporting, and we can use your help so that we can keep being out here where the people are. Statuscoup.com/West Coast. 25 bathrooms for his prostate issue. I cannot confirm. I can't confirm or deny any.
So here we have actual police, but again, they don't have their lights on, they're just watching.
So that's kind of interesting. Would you expect them to be more present at this point or no?
I would think so, but apparently they don't seem to feel this is as threatening as BLM. even though there's some crossover here.
And you've seen time and time again that Black Lives protesters and marchers are targeted by police, whereas Trump marchers and ralliers are kind of protected and not the other way around.
Not the other way around, definitely. You know, and I think part of the anger that we're listening to right now, these are folks that not only lost their jobs because of COVID, but even when they were working, we're talking about, you know, an hour. That's just to pay for the rent and the food because it's that expensive. So
people know, like, what is the minimum wage here?
$15 an hour. Right?
One second, guys.
So, yeah, this is the gate to his giant house. Wow.
All right, so we're here.
And the world's largest hedges.
They are enormous hedges, absolutely enormous.
My God.
It's up in front here.
6 months later, he's still out here in the streets after I was fired on March 30th. We still advocating for the same thing we were advocating on day one. To protect the workers of Amazon, of all essential workers all across the world. We stand here in solidarity today. Right? We in front of the richest man in the world. This man almost $4,000 as I speak a second. Shit ain't right. And we unemployed. We got of this workforce just tested positive for this virus. 20,000. And we don't even believe that. Because they have 600,000 warehouse workers nationwide. And we don't believe that because who knows how many numbers they got. The Trump, and we all broke, we all in the same boat.
They don't even care
That's
about the
it.
economy, they care about the stock market.
The stock market, yeah. Well, this is the new Rosa Parks movement. Boycott this, the richest company in the world, until we get change. Start with the tops. Go for the jugglers. Go for the richest man. Everybody else will fall in line. Cut the head off of the snake. He's watching. He's scared. He's nervous. Oh, they cut off all live streams. Yeah, they trying to stop us and silence us, but guess what? They ain't gonna stop shit today. We already did. We already said and done what we came to do today. So, you know, don't let them try to block our noise. Don't let them try to silence us. Don't look at that propaganda commercial always all happy. That's not the reality of the situation. Y'all heard the stories today. We got workers that have been fired, myself, for speaking up. We got workers that have underlying health conditions. My man right here, Jason, he didn't even speak, but he's here from New York. Amazon fired him because he has a health condition. I have workers all over reaching out to me. They just shut up Amazon building in Jacksonville, Florida. To me, I got to go down to Jacksonville, Florida soon. They've been shot up multiple times during the course of the pandemic. You think he cared about it? No. We had a worker in New York. A mother of 2 kids on unemployment for 4 months. Amazon disputed and hired a caseworker to dispute her unemployment so she can pay the money back. A single mother of kids. This man disputed. You know who gave her an attorney? The Congress of Essential Workers. He provided an attorney for her. She won her case, and now she don't got to worry about it anymore. But that's just an example. That's one story of the many that are unheard. I have a member of my organization right now battling for months about Amazon and their medical conditions, how they're not taking care of their, and she's still going through it down in Texas. These are stories that are unheard. And my voice is their voice. Our voice together. That's what needs to be heard right now. Buildings that they're setting up. All these buildings setting up in your shop, in your backyard. Destroying small businesses. Destroying working class people. Destroying the lower class people. Enough is enough. We're tired. We're done. And I want to say this. Fuck Jeff Bezos.
And I want to say thank you all for being out here today. As we wrap up, we're going to march back to the park. We're going to march back to the park, and we're going to continue to advocate peacefully as we march through this billion-dollar neighborhood. But the story don't end today. This is just the beginning. Follow us, stay with us, join the fight if you haven't already. Speak the truth to the power. Speak the truth to the power. And if we don't get it, shut shit down. Time is now. Solidarity forever. Before we leave, let's bring up the orgs. We're going to have a solidarity banner come across. We want everybody that's here to hold the solidarity banner. Leslie, do we have a solidarity banner here? The solidarity banner? We want to take the solidarity banner out, and we go out together. I want everybody to call the general strike with us and the boycotting of Amazon, and also Sam. You good? All right, I lost my voice. Banners at the park? All right, we do it at the park then. So, once again, I'm going to stand behind with my brothers and sisters, and I'm going to lead us off with a chant, and then we'll march back to the park.
We really should have a group picture in front of that. There you go. Right? But I mean, everybody should be in front of.
When I say tax, y'all say Bezos. Tax! 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 If we don't get it, 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 shut it down. Hold up, we don't get it, shut it down. One more time. Don't get it, shut it down. Power to the people, y'all. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's walk back to the park safely, y'all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Let's make some noise!
Okay, so that was the area, and the stream went down due to signal jammers, we assume. Marching back to